Oh yeah, it's good to get a win on the board, that's for sure. It's a bit of a different feel in the air, and to notch up our second one for the year. Boys are pretty excited and keen to get out there this week.
A bit easier just to come to the club after a win, after training, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's always a grind when we're not getting the results on the field, but over the last couple of weeks we've had a little bit of reward for effort. We had a few things to work on at the midway point of the year, and we saw a little bit of that against St Kilda, and we're lucky enough to put a winning performance in on the weekend.
Does your coach mean like a new lease on life for you guys?
I think Craigie's come in and there's been a little bit of fresh air about the place. Obviously we've got some clarity in terms of the direction the club's heading in, and I think the players have taken a lot of onus on themselves to improve their performances, because how we performed in the first half of the year wasn't up to scratch.
There's been a lot of speculation about some players perhaps leaving the club. With the win on the weekend, does it make it less likely or more likely for guys like Watts and Sylvie that they might stay at the club?
There's no doubt about that, but in terms of the speculation on their future, that's something that you're going to have to ask them. But I know from my point of view and the players, just from speaking to them, obviously winning makes things a hell of a lot easier, and I think on the weekend we saw a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the direction we're heading and where potentially we could get to.
We'll talk about Paul Roos as well, perhaps coming down. Is he someone you'd like to see at the club?
I have a lot of respect for him, and obviously all the stuff that he did at Sydney. And but to be honest, that's a decision that the board and new CEO Peter will come to a decision at some stage later in the year in terms of choosing the coach.
Neil Craig spoke about gaining that belief on a consistent basis. How do you feel that I guess that was the start to that on the weekend, gaining one win, but that's probably not enough. You need to get that on a belief that you can win every week.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's consistency with performance, and the more we can string better patches of play together and I get some continuity and some consistency with the team, obviously that builds confidence within the group, and the more we can execute, although there was a lot of areas we could improve on the weekend, to get over the line ended up being a pretty tight contest, and for us to save the game in that last few minutes is another thing that generates that confidence. So if we can continue on working and improving on those areas on the track in training and that, I'm sure that consistency and that belief will continue to grow.
When going through the review, Nathan, what changed from the previous weeks? Did you notice anything that changed?
Our focuses have been tinkered with a little bit in terms of how Nildy coached compared to Craigie, but all the key philosophies are still there, and the stuff that we try to implement under Nildy is still there, but Craigie's just encouraged us to attack the game offensively, and that's an area we really struggled with in the first half of the year. In particular, was being able to retain the ball with possession. So that's something we've been really focusing on and really working on with our training.
You're playing a top four side this weekend. I suppose it would really give you an indication of where you're at since Neil has left.
It'll give us, I guess, a clearer picture in terms of where we're at across the whole competition. Not necessarily since Nildy's left. I think we've shown some improvement over the last couple of weeks, yeah. But it's just a great challenge for us. Sydney are in super form, and obviously reigning premiers, and it's a contest the boys are really looking forward to. It's good that we've got a little bit of form as well, and hopefully we can attack them offensively and put in a good display on the weekend.
And if you look at social media, there's been a lot of talk amongst Demons fans about how happy they were that you got that win last weekend. So I suppose it must be great to see that you can bring some joy to some fans that have really suffered over this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's great to see all the kids out here today. I think, in particular, the long-suffering supporters. It's great for them, and we feel for them. There's no doubt about that, and we want to win for them. And they're at the forefront of our mind, because the ones that turn up week in, week out and support us, they're the lifeblood of the footy club. So we love our supporters, and it was great to see them in full voice on the weekend, and it's great to see the turnout here today, and hopefully we can continue to compete competitively and notch up a few more wins as the year comes out, and the supporters can get the enjoyment they deserve.
Sydney are coming off a pretty hard game in the wet, and they've just lost arguably their best player. You feel they're maybe right for the picking for an upset?
I wouldn't necessarily say right for the picking, but I think we'll go through our opposition analysis towards the end of the week, and we'll look at ways that potentially where we could maybe pick them apart. But look, they're a great side with a huge amount of depth, and they've got so many good players across the board that I'm sure they'll be able to fill any void that may be missing, and we're just looking forward to a really tight and tough contest on Sunday.
And Jack Watts, a lot of people said that's probably his best game for the club. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, possibly. I've seen glimpses of his talent, obviously, at training and in games throughout his career, but on the weekend I think he put it all together. He was able to kick goals, he was able to create play for us, and then I think probably the greatest moment of the game was that clutch mark he took in the last quarter, and his composure and understanding of the situation of the game. I think his confidence is growing. He's had some really close mentoring with Craigie, and it's great to see because he's a really great talent for us, and if he can put it together on a consistent basis, he's going to be the player that we all hope he will be.
And just on Watsy, he came out recently and said he wants to stay at the club, obviously. But do you reckon the direction from Peter Jackson at the top, does that help players when he says that they want to retain players at the club? Does that help players to see that there is a clear direction?
There's no doubt about that. I think we had a really good talk, the playing group, with Peter a few weeks ago, and he outlined his intentions, and he didn't really give us too much in terms of, I guess, the finer details or outlining points of this and that. He's left it up to just for him to show us what he's going to do over the next 11 weeks in particular, and I think it's great for the boys that he encourages, that he believes that the future of the footy club lies within the group that we've got, and we'll obviously bolster that with talent over the journey. But if we can continue to develop the players we've got, I think there's a really good future.
And just one last thing on the captaincy, would you put yourself up as maybe a third captain or as a replacement captain if the new coach wanted to change direction?
I think we'll just stick with the two Jacks at the minute, mate. I'm comfortable in my role as vice captain, and if any change was to be, that's out of my control. But at the moment, I think they're doing a fine job, and I'm 100% behind them.